Hey, welcome back to my Learn React freeCodeCamp certification lessons. So, what is today's lesson? It's about, yes, you guessed it, pass an array as a prop. So here you have a parent component as given as an example with a child component, and color prop is sent to the child and accessed by the child. So here as a task, what you need to do is there's a to-do component and list component, and you need to kind of pass the array, the task array from the parent to the child, and you need to access that. Yeah, so let's see how that is done. So first and foremost, the cons list, that is a child. So pass the props, right? So how do you pass the props? Let's get that done. First and foremost, cons list equals props. So that means props is sent to the cons list, to the list component, which is a child. Yeah, and in that you need to access it within the p tag. You need to write the code, so that the child can access this code. So props. So what kind of property is being accessed and sent to the child? It is the tasks property from the to-do list, from the to-do app. So it's already mentioned in the question. So you need to mention that. It's very important what property is it? Is it a color property or task property or whatever? So in this case, it's props.tasks, and then you need to join it. Use the array method. If you remember the array method, one of the array method was join, right? So that you get a string of different tasks put together. So you do that. And then you come back to the main component, the parent component, which is rendering the child components. So there are two lists here, one for today and the another one for tomorrow, that is for 2 days. And in today's list component, you have to write 2 tasks, and for tomorrow's list component, you need to write 3 tasks as per the question provided in the FCC. Okay, so come to the today's task. It is just for example, it could be anything. I just wrote here, like let's say sing and jog or walk or picnic or whatever you feel like. So just pick 2 tasks and write that. Yeah. And then remember to enclose this array within curly brackets, curly braces. Yeah. That is very important. Otherwise, it will not be treated as a JavaScript array, and then only you can access it here. So that's very important. Do not forget to enclose it within the curly braces. So first task is, let's say, sing and book. Then the second one, you write something, and the same way, just put in 3 tasks. That's it. So I would suggest that you code along with me. You may write it here, or also you may write it in your code editor, whichever way. Sorry for the typo. Something is wrong with my editor today. It's just jumping too much. Okay. So I've finished for today, and then I'm writing for tomorrow, the task for today, and then the task for tomorrow. I forgot to write task equals. That's very important. Don't just write the task only. You have to write tasks equals, because then only it can identify. The property can be accessed by identifying what property it is. This array is actually accessing the task property. So tasks. So there are 2 tasks. You write it within the today and tomorrow's list components, which are the children, rendering in the parent component. So this way you can render. After passing the props to the child can the child can access, and also it can be rendered here. There you go. Just write about anything. Don't bother about any task. I mean, don't bother about writing a particular or specific task. This is just for example's sake. So you're finished with that. So it's quite simple, right? First, pass the props to the child so that the child can access. Mention what kind of props it is. Like in this case, it is the props.tasks. Then in this particular scenario, since there are many tasks, you just make sure that while passing it to the child, you also mention the join method so that later there is no confusion. While rendering, it can read all the tasks put together in a string with a comma in between. So that was the idea of joining it initially. And then render it. Render it finally in the parent component within the child. That is, the child is rendered inside the parent component because the child has already been able to access the property from the parent. So this is very important. Step 1 was creating and passing the property to the child, and then step 2 was enclosing, that is rendering the property within the children inside the parent. So to-do list, you can now see today and tomorrow's task as a string if you see on the preview screen. So that's just about it. This is exactly the way you have to render it in the parent after, within the child, inside the parent, after you pass it to the child first. So now it's so easy to render the value from the tasks property. Yeah. So this is how you do it.